plot twist, one review actually doesn't have to kill you.
Welcome to the Lion's Den, hosted by Lance Bachman.
Everybody, welcome to this week's edition of the Lion's Den. I have the community director from Nicejob, and I'm not going to call it reputation management. You call it reputation marketing. I'll let you explain the difference. I love it. I love what you do. Shawn Hill, welcome to the Den. I appreciate you being on here. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, and I got to be honest, I'm loving hearing the East Coast accent again. I'm from Philadelphia originally, now here in Canadian, so I had to drop all my my Johns and my hoagies for process and pastas, so I'm glad to hear the accent again.
So, Shawn, let's jump into this. On this Den, we're going to educate people on how important reviews are, how you get more reviews, how you get reviews to impact your sales, higher conversions, trust, all those things for small businesses, medium-sized businesses. But before we jump into that, let's talk about who you are, Shawn, and what you guys do over there at Nicejob.
Yeah, as I said, I'm from the fighting city of Philadelphia, but the way I came to Nicejob was my background was in sports. I worked for a couple of Philadelphia teams, Phantoms, Flyers, Soul, Philadelphia Freedoms, worked up and down the East Coast with USA Rugby and minor league baseball and things like that. And my job was to take people that were passionate about sports and make them more passionate through things like game entertainment, game presentation. So how does that relate to Nicejob, a reputation marketing company? Well, they realize that small business owners are passionate about what they do, but they also realize that their customers could become a fan base. You could get people to become vocal advocates. Now, were they going to wear your plumbing shirt and paint their face that says "Go Plumber Go"? Perhaps not. But I've been working with them to talk about how you don't have to linear market anymore. So take a customer from the beginning and run them through a scale. You can kind of market on a quadrant, things like that. But ultimately, it was about trying to take new innovative ideas with a company like Nicejob that was looking to kind of grow from startup stage, but was founded by a guy who worked for a big marketing agency, had Samsung, NFL's clients, things like that, and kind of realized that, you know what, these people just kind of threw money and kind of didn't deserve all the praise. So how do we get down to the actual heartbeat of North America, really, which is the hardworking people in small businesses? And so that's where the focus shift. We have world-class software that gets the tools done, but really Nicejob is built on the people like myself that just want to kind of help other people and make them more passionate and get the reputation they deserve.
I heard a rumor that you were one of the people that brought, I think the name is Gritty from the Flyers. I don't watch hockey, so I'd be lying here, but I think he's the green guy. No, is he green? Is he orange?
No, he's orange. He's orange. Yeah.
He's orange. Okay. So they were telling me this is the guy that helped bring Gritty to life. He helped. Is that true? I don't know much, but that's the mascot for the Flyers, correct?
Yeah, so it's funny. You said I heard a rumor, and that's part of the reason I kind of left sports is being a huge part of that project. But the way sports kind of works is sometimes they go for big names, things like that. So I do want to give credit to Dave Raymond, who's the original Philly fanatic, who you may have heard of if you're on the baseball side of things. If you're just on the football side of things,
he's the green guy, right?
He's Swoop's cousin. Yeah. So fanatic is the green guy there. But so Gritty was an initiative by the Philadelphia Flyers to create a mascot, not for the first time ever. They had one little iteration that didn't go far at all, but we created this thing in the shadow of the Philly fanatic, kind of the best mascot in sports. And we knew that the situation was Flyers fans really weren't going to take to it. We knew that the league as a whole, they wanted us to do it, but they weren't going to take to it. So where my and part of the project came in, it was Dave Raymond, an artist, Anthony Gioia from the Philly Flyers. A couple people sat in and created this character. And pretty much they were going to bring it to life in the sense of design it and get someone in there. From once he debuted until success or failure, that fell in my domain and a couple of small others. It was funny. I worked with an entire marketing department that was desperately trying to separate themselves from the project. They didn't think it was going to work. They thought it was going to be a failure. They didn't want any part of their resumes. A couple months later, after Gritty had been on Jimmy Kimmel, Good Morning America, all these national TV programs, they were trying to get themselves on the cover of Philadelphia magazine. But I loved the Gritty project. Anything you saw from season one, so him fighting goalies, him shooting t-shirt cans at people, pieing people in the face, all those antics was written by me and a tremendous performer. And we came together. So when I look back, I'm like the television writer of one series of a show, but it's the series that was the most impactful and clearly the most popular. So it's something that awesome. I love. I've done some mascot consulting since then. So, but yeah, it's something I look back. It's just such a unique time. And if you're in that hockey world or if you're in that pop culture world, you've certainly heard of Gritty. And so to have my fingerprint on that kind of global phenomenon was pretty cool.
If you like this content and you're trying to grow your business, follow me at Lance Bachman and Lance Bachman Digital on Facebook. LFG, time to grow. I mean, obviously, not switching gears. I look at all different review platforms. I look at reviews. I know how important they are for small businesses, obviously, any business actually. But I mean, I don't think anyone's stopping from buying a pair of Nikes because someone says they're a piece of shit. I just don't believe that. I think you just go buy a pair of Nikes. They've been around for years. They're trusted, right? Someone, Big Macs are bad for you, but people still go buy Big Macs every day, right? So, but in small business, one review can just destroy you. Can you tell everybody why, especially being that local plumber, roofer, lawyer, whatever it may be, why it's so important to have reviews and how the kind of review process works? I think a lot of people don't understand it.
Yeah. So plot twist, one review actually doesn't have to kill you. I'll get on that in just a moment here, because that's the big shift you talk about at the top of the show. Reputation marketing and reputation management. So reputation management's been around for a little while now, and it's the process of collecting reviews, right? Sometimes they like to roll it in with other features like customer chat and a couple other things, but really it's just you're trying to get this good feedback. But companies like Nike and McDonald's, the one you mentioned, they take all comers, right? And what it comes down to is reputation marketing is about taking that reputation, taking all feedback, figuring out how to make institutional changes in your company culture, figuring out how to make changes in your systems, but then also promote all that great stuff about you to have great marketing. Because brand marketing, so this is who Nike is, this is who McDonald's is, that's the brand, right? That's the just do it. That's the I'm loving it. That's that side of it. The, hey, Nikes make my feet hurt. Hey, Nikes have bad labor practices. Hey, Nikes are awesome and gave me the quickest 40 time I've ever had in my life. That's reputation, right? And so Nike and McDonald's have built up such a strong one that they literally can do things wrong and people will still get them. Well, as a small business owner, sometimes it feels like you kind of mentioned, you only get one shot at it, right? You only get one opportunity. The biggest difference between Nike and McDonald's is that they allow their customers to be vocal and they make them vocal advocates, right? So sometimes they work in silence, they do charitable things. They do a lot of under the radar sort of things. And that's what kind of builds up this affinity. For a small business owner, every time you do a job, so whether you're a plumber, painter, landscaper, pressure washer, no matter what you do, you have the opportunity now to get valuable feedback. And if it's good, it's going to turn into valuable marketing. If it's bad, it's going to turn into pivotal marketing. And I use that term in a sense that a bad review is a chance for you to improve. And you're a Philly guy, man, and start getting that Rocky story of your own, right? Like, yeah, we did screw up. We were late. You kind of made a big deal about it in the review. We were 2 minutes late, but you know what? You're right. Your time is valuable. We value our customers' times. That's what we say on our website. So you know what? We're never going to be late again. We're going to make those changes, right?
Yeah, it's great.
You build this kind of comeback story. You build this fighter's chance. But ultimately, if you have 20 reviews, you can start considering yourself in the game. If you have 35 reviews, you can officially start considering yourself a competitor in your market. If you have less than that, you're just a name out there. And so
what is the amount? What is the amount of reviews a small business should have? Should it be 300? Should it be 100?
It does depend on how many clients you serve, right? It depends on how many clients you serve. Some people are a one-man shop out there and you're not going to get to 300 people in a year. So it's absurd to think that you can even get 300 reviews, right? What we like to say is over the course as you grow your businesses, as I just said, 20 gets you in the game. If you have 20, there's a lot of studies, psychological studies out there that people tend to trust those reviews a bit more because it looks like you have a little bit of longevity, looks like you have some experience. But if you're listening to this, and you're like, crap, I only have 3 reviews. Look at how many you've gotten. If you've served 4 customers and you have 3 reviews, you're doing okay. If you served 1,000 customers and you have 3 reviews, give Nicejob a call. Let's get it going, right? Or if you don't want to give Nicejob a call, I'm dead honest. If you don't give Nicejob a call, ask for reviews after every single job. Make it a part of what your team asks for. If you're a solo shop, make it what you ask for. Because the worst thing is only having 3 reviews. You talked about that one review sinks you. It's like batting averages at the beginning of the baseball season, right? I'm batting 1,000, 2 strikeouts. Like, I'm batting 200 all of a sudden, right? And so that's what you want to do. So small business owner, you want to get every review you can because it's also valuable information, right? Lance, if someone told you like, hey, this is what I think of your podcast, and they're like, I don't like this, I do like that, you'd be like, okay, I could make those changes. I agree with those 100%.
Changes. Listen, I always want people's feedback.
That fundamentally goes what I'm against, right? If you're like, you know what, I hear that feedback, but that's not me. You might go, how do we not get more listeners like that? Because they don't like us. So if you have a service and you do it a certain way and that's prideful and you're going and you're not going to make changes, you want customers that want that business, right? And so that's why it's important to find out that feedback and make sure that you're aggressively going and getting reviews.
Let's talk about, your platform, how it works. I mean, I know that people get literally It helps their conversions, right? Let's talk about that. Number one, I talk about the sales process. People say to me all the time when you're a small business, there's always a sales process for everything. Even selling sneakers, there's always a process of selling something, right? When you're selling sales, any small businesses, before you go out there, you want to be trusted. I believe reviews are the number one factor that can easily do that for you. Video testimonials and reviews, right?
Yeah.
People buy from people they like, number one. I truly believe that. If you're an asshole, people just aren't buying from you, right? That's just that, no matter what it is. But people buy from people they trust also.
Yeah.
And you want, before your mechanic shows up, before your technician shows up, before I show up, my salespeople show up, I want them to feel trusted. Like, hey, listen, we've been around for 13 years. We have hundreds of clients. We made a lot of business successful. Can you talk about that and how reviews do that for the psyche of someone looking to buy your product or services? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so reviews set up, you talk about start building that trust, right? But also when people look at reviews, and it's funny, you mentioned video testimonials that kind of had their little moment, but right now video is king everywhere else except kind of the testimonial space. Unfortunately, it's really hard to kind of craft that right. No one's kind of quite figured it out. But text reviews, they're fast, they're quick, and people kind of read through. But what they start to do when they read reviews, they identify themselves in the review, right? So someone that's making a big deal about something and they don't really feel that's important, they kind of like skim on by that one, right? But they find the ones that speak to them. But what it does is, and the stat came out recently, is that 90% of customers trust something in a review more so than a sales folder or any sales presentation. And the reason why is because there's a stigma a little bit about sales of, the greasy used car salesman and things like that. So people are always kind of on edge or at least defensive when it comes to sales. But when it comes to social proof, when it comes to reviews and things of that nature, it goes back to the cave people days, right? Where someone goes to take something off a bush and another cave person goes, right? And then they don't eat that bush, they don't get sick. Yeah. So that's ingrained in who we are. So when other people are talking about you, it makes you seem more popular, makes you seem, more current, especially if you're looking from the SEO perspective, as you well know, that user-generated content that the internet loves, that's what reviews are. So now reviews allow you not only to get that good user-generated content juice, but you're building trust wherever the customer starts finding you. The biggest thing I'd love to share is the study's almost complete now, but 18 to 34, they're no longer searching blank near me. They're coming through social platforms. They're coming with direct searches. And because of that, your reviews are probably gonna be the first thing that they get to see. And if you can catch them that first touch point and give them a positive, happy ecosystem to live in, you start building trust that now they're calling you ready to be sold. Their defenses are down. They want to hear what you have to say. They still want to get the best deal. They still want to get the best offer, but they're ready to be like, you know what? I think you're my guy. Prove it to me. And if you got a good sales process, there you go. So you talk about conversion rates on websites. It's because of your website, you have clear CTAs. You have it where it's visually, they get the information quickly. But we have a widget called Engage, which is real-time social proof, pops up in the corner there, lets people know they just left a recent review, shows off your 5 stars and things like that. That's that little extra incentive to go, you know what? I'm safe. I can go on to the buying process.
Let's talk about this. You said something interesting. People are going through social channels to buy things, other things now. It's definitely changing. I still think Google reviews are the number one out there by far. Can you tell me what you see it as? Like, people always ask me, hey, Lance, what's most important? Is it Yelp? Is it Facebook? Is it Google? Can you kind of walk us through, you guys have written a nice job, what you think it is?
Yeah, Google's king. Google's obviously king. And the reason Google's king is because it's also the most popular search engine, right? Mm-hmm. So what you're giving them is user-generated content. But the way search engines work, and I want to kind of dabble a little bit here, is they're trying to display answers to a query, right? Whatever you type in, trying to display answers. Google loves showing their own stuff, right? If they can show you a Google review, they're going to show you a Google review. They can show you a Google business profile, they'll show you a Google business profile. Map listing, whatever it is. 10 years from now, when Google comes out with something new, they're going to want you to use that. You look at something like Instagram and Facebook in that meta space. Instagram wants you to use Instagram. Facebook wants you to use Facebook. So those reviews, that's user-generated content on those platforms. So Instagram, through Nicejob, you can share your review to Instagram now, but in Facebook, they have the recommendations thing. They go through. So right now, I'd say Google is number one. They are, number one in the power rankings. No one's going to go for them. I would say dropping down the power rankings quite quickly, and they won't admit, is Yelp. Yelp losing the Apple Maps integration is really going to hurt them. And they have really negative reputation, both in the business sphere and starting to get in the public sphere as well. Yelp just kind of landed in that Xerox zone where people kind of say it, but they always say it in a negative connotation, right? I think fast rising, coming up the power rankings. I would look at Facebook. There's things like Nextdoor that unfortunately they don't integrate with anybody. So it's on a platform. So that's the only reason I'm a little hesitant with that one. But that's one that's growing in popularity when people are starting their searches. But all those reviews are contained in an ecosystem. So maybe like they're that mid-major at that point, getting too deep in the sports reference. But yeah, Google's going to be number one far and away. No one's going to touch it. I think Facebook is really starting to grow. And if Instagram actually adds reviews integrated into the platform, that's going to be a real hard contender to beat because people love living on Instagram almost their whole life at the moment. It's a visual platform, so it allows you to combine things like you could do with the Google business profile of showing off images of your work and things like that. A little bit easier than kind of Facebook in that regard. But Google's far and away king. If you're listening to this and go, okay, I need to just focus on one review platform. For some reason, I'm only dedicated on one, make it Google because that's going to give you the longest reach.
Here's a question for you on the final roar, and I appreciate your time. I mean, you did a nice job, literally, today on the den.
That's why we named it that.
On the final roar, all joking aside, do you think 10 years from now, reviews are going to change, or 5 years? Where do you see reviews going? Like you said, video is kind of dead, right? Like, yeah. I agree with you because now you have to send the video content, the link. People don't watch them as much, but your salespeople are almost forcing them, right? Instead of giving someone a referral, you're sending the video testimonial, right? So, I mean, kind of talk to me through where you see the reviews going in the space. I mean, can you talk to me about that?
Yeah. So reviews, I will say, are already pretty impactful. I think they're going to get more impactful because the one thing we've seen over the past 2 years is people have gotten tired of experts, right? They still listen to the podcast. They still go through. I'm going to dance around the big thing that's kind of happened in our world as to not dive in that angle. But realistically, is people got tired of like, look, just stop telling me what the thing is. I'm going to figure it out on my own. So it's brought communities closer in a smaller way, even with divisions, across countries. People have kind of figured out that they want to get their source of truth from wherever they want to get it from, and they want to believe that. So reviews are going to get more impactful. I think what you're going to see also is as the customer gets a little bit more digital savvy, we've seen it a little bit already, is people will be willing to leave reviews if you make it incredibly simple. That's what Nicejob is going to put together. But people are going to be used to typing on their phones. They're going to be used to following links and going through. So I think it's going to see a little bit of an explosion, and then some marketer somewhere will figure out how to tweak it and it'll go undercurrent. But reviews are never going away, and reviews are history. It is record. If somehow Google gets toppled over, it doesn't mean all that content that appears on Google that talks good about your business is useless. The big shift for reputation marketing is that you just need someone to say it. You'd love for them to say it in a real public space, written by them, and posted everywhere to see. But at the very least, my takeaway for this is in your business, you need to make reviews a part of your culture. Stop having the stigma of that you're begging or you're nagging. You're asking for feedback. The restaurant industry, they literally put tip right on your receipt. They are brazen and bold about it. It could be the worst service ever, Lance, and they're still going to slide you a receipt that says tip on it. So I
don't have a problem. I tell people, like, if you believe in your product, your service, you did a good job, ask for the review. And I say this to people all the time, the number one way businesses grow is by reviews. I believe that with all my heart. I mean, obviously you have to have a marketing strategy. You got to have the right product and services, but so help me out. I helped you. Hey, I came out when you needed me.
And like I said, so in the Nicejob perspective, we've tried to accomplish a lot of those goals, right? We've made it as easy as possible so your client can leave a review for you on the platform they want to within like 30 seconds to a minute, click right through. We made it easy for you as the business owner. You get follow-ups. So starts with the text message, up to 3 emails if necessary. Once they leave a review, no more follow-ups, right? They don't get any messages they don't want. But the biggest part where we've now pulled away and become a leader in reputation marketing instead of some player in reputation management is topic insights, employee leaderboard, all this data that's going to allow you to be like, guess what? You'll never own your reputation, but now you can take all the power and all the juice out of it and power your business to not only become a competitor, as we talked about earlier in the show, but to become a leader, but really to scale and grow to wherever you want. So Nicejob is going to help you if you're a single man shop, or if you're listening and you're $1 billion company on the verge, reviews are still going to be important. So, Phil Knight, Nike, give me a call, man. Like we can hook you up and make people buy even more Nikes. But in the end, the small business owners is where kind of our heart is. And so reach out to us. And if you don't think our product's for you, if you don't think it goes, please just take that takeaway that you deserve reviews and you have to start collecting them, and you have to start using them in your marketing because it's going to get you the goals that you want.
Shawn, thank you for being on the Den. I hope things get better in Canada. I've been watching what's going on up there. Good luck. You're making news all around the world, brother. Nice job over there, guys. Seriously, keep doing what you guys are doing.
All right, cheers, man. Good talking to you.